First up, Patterson and Adams charged with conspiracy to defraud the Demerara Harbour Bridge of over $162 million. Former Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson and former General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Ralston Adams were today arraigned in the Georgetown Magistrates Court on a fraud charge. That incident stemmed from the awarding of a contract for a feasibility study of the Demerara Harbour Bridge, which was done between 2016 and 2018. When Patterson and Adams appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan, she recused herself and told the court that Patterson and Adams are known to her. The matter was then transferred to Magistrate Leron Daly, where Patterson and Adams were jointly charged and were released on $200,000 bail each. Patterson was represented by a battery of lawyers led by Ronald Burtsmith, Nigel Hughes, and Kemraj Ramjatan. Hughes believes that the charge was unfounded.
It's important at this stage that we understand the background of this malicious allegation. And the background of this allegation is that a foreign government approached the government of Guyana, specifically an agency of the ministry which Mr. Patterson headed, expressing their interest in providing services to the government of Guyana on the feasibility of the Demerara Bridge. This was not an activity or an action initiated by Mr. Patterson. And therefore, in the circumstances, we believe that this charge not only is unfounded, but is malevolent. Sorry, forgive me. Tight town today. It's important that one understands the history, and I would invite the members of the press to look at it. Another point that is of some significance is that the feasibility study that was conducted is actually, parts of it are actually being used by this government as they move forward. So this matter and the institution of these charges seem clearly to be in the realm of political rather than legal jurisprudence. What I can say in the particulars is they're alleging that he conspired with Mr. Adams to defraud the government of $162 million. As you know, that money was paid by the government to the foreign company to provide the feasibility.
And it was cabinet agreed.
And it was cabinet approved. All of this was cabinet approved, documented in the cabinet minutes. So the fact that these services were paid by the government directly to the contractor, I don't understand how Mr. Patterson either could have benefited from it or could have conspired to benefit from it. And more importantly, the entire feasibility program was not initiated by Mr. Patterson. This was initiated by a foreign government expressing interest in providing those services to Guyana.
Outside of the courtroom, his parliamentary colleagues were protesting, calling for an end to what opposition leader Joseph Harmon called vindictiveness.
To support David Patterson, who is a member of parliament and who has been brought before these courts on a matter that had been already dealt with by Justice Ladet Singh when she was the police legal advisor. And so this action here by the PPP regime is basically a vindictive action, and it is meant to create some problem with the leadership of the APNU AFC. They're trying to seek to pick us off. They've dealt with Walter Lawrence in the PNC, now they've gone with David Patterson here, and we don't know who is next. So what we are doing here this morning as members of parliament primarily, and I suppose the AFC also, is to registering our concern at the way in which this government is using the Guyana police force. They have weaponized the Guyana police force to take action against citizens when there is no real cause of action.
Harmon said the matter was already dealt with by Justice Ladet Singh, the then legal advisor of the Guyana Police Force.
It is vindictive. It is because Patterson is a thorn in the side of the PPP that he is disturbing them in the Public Accounts Committee. And in particular, this one, Edgel, is carrying a specific fight to David Patterson. But as I say here in this placard, Patterson delivered and Edgel is a failure. Patterson has delivered on many, many infrastructure projects in this country, all across this country, and we are all the better for it.
He also took a swipe at the DPP.
The DPP, the weight of the DPP is another weight, and the other kind of weight that is already weighing down the people of Guyana. We have had to picket the office of the DPP before. She's a constitutional office holder, so I would not want to comment too much on what would tend towards her character or integrity. But what I can say is that the work which comes out from her office is reeking of partiality, of bias. Look at all the number of persons who have already been tried. Anil Nandalal, Ashley Singh, the other one from Nisil. All of them, before these courts, the magistrate, the police do their work. And of course, Irfan Ali. The police have done their work, the courts have done their work. And it's just a matter of time. And in she comes. And I'll process these matters. But I think there have to be a stopping to that.
Adams was represented by attorney at law Glenn Hanuman, and he refused to comment to the media. The two will make their next court appearance on February 15th.
Shh. It's your new secret. The all-in-one weapon for perfecting imperfections and capturing flawless skin. A lot of brands forget women of color or just don't understand that we come in all shades. From caramel to ebony, there's such a range. Iman Cosmetics is for every woman and features a line of skincare products and cosmetics including 16 foundation shades, powder, concealer, lipstick, blush, eyeshadow, highlighter, and BB cream. Visit us at Lot 75, Swamp Section, Rosal Town. That's behind the market. Or call 337-4422 or 688-9249. Shh.
Violence is violence directed at another family member.
It can be physical, verbal, sexual, and more. Family violence leads to despair, destruction, and death.
It can happen to both men and especially women from any background. Children are especially vulnerable. And the stress and isolation due to the COVID-19 pandemic can increase family violence. Family violence is illegal in Guyana. If you or someone you know is experiencing gender-based violence, family-based violence, or sexual harassment, contact the Women and Gender Equality Commission at 231-5276 or 231-5298.
Or put an anonymous note in the post office boxes at the Guyana Human Rights Commission Building, the Guyana Post Office Corporation, the National Library, the Georgetown Public Hospital, and the University of Guyana.
Caribbean rice, from the lush rice fields of Guyana, straight to your home. Caribbean rice, our people, our rice.
Henry family protests outside office of the president. Family says the killers are still roaming out there. The Henry family is keeping up the pressure on the Guyana police force to go after all leads to ensure that they get justice in the brutal murders of cousins Joel and Isaiah. Today, the aggrieved family members protested outside of the office of the president, calling on the president to keep his word that he will leave no stone unturned in the matter. The family feels that there is a mastermind behind the murders who is still on the loose.
Everything that under the carpet must come out. Exactly. We are not going to accept no defeat over those two boys, two innocent boys. We will accept the one, the long hair one, but not the two. The two from Blackbush, we are not going to accept because we know is who. It's only because we cannot come to front. The person that sent where they're there on the land, let them come out.
They did not inform me that they had 3 persons in custody We hear it from outside. And if there are the killers, they are 3 junkie, I call them. Why they will come and boom up in front of we and threaten we, run my nephew, run go for kill my next son. So if there are the killers, why they do that? They have the money to send people? No, I'm not accepting that. I am not accepting that. I need the rightful killer. Up to Christmas Eve there, the police them tell me they had a tangible lead. Christmas Eve day, they was to go and collect a boy. But just because somebody else give them a phone call, they leave him like that. I am not accepting this. They got to give me the rightful killer for my son, Isaiah Henry. And let me get the big one, not the small fish. We don't want the small fish alone. We need the boss.
The family fears that the case is heading in the wrong direction.
We decided to protest it because we see that these guys find, the policeman has said they find 3 persons confessed to this murder. And not only that these 3 boys confessed to the murder, but these 3 boys, they say that the 3 boys convinced that, saying that these 2 boys go down and spray the ganja farm and they reach them and then kill them. And the place where they carried the policeman was far away from where this body found. Far away from where this body found. These boys are talking about ganja thing, they're talking about till in the cane field. Till around the cane field area. And we ain't even halfway from the cane field area. But this is more than that. These boys got to know more than what they're saying. And we ain't going for no confess to the murder. We need to see evidence. We need evidence. We need to know about the cycle. We need to know about the bar. We need to know about the phone that Isaiah lived home with. And this guy know nothing about these things.
3 men were remanded for the murders of Joel and Isaiah, whose mutilated bodies were discovered in the back dam at Cotton Tree on the west coast of Belize. The spines of both of the teenagers were severed. Guyana's Foreign Affairs Minister is in talks with his Venezuelan counterparts to have the 2 Guyanese fishing boats and crew members released from custody in Venezuela. The crew and the fishing boats Lady Noraya and the Sea Wolf were operating off the coast of Winey Point within Guyana's exclusive economic zone when they were intercepted by Comandante Hugo Chavez, GC-24 on Thursday, January 21st, 2021. The Guyana government has condemned in the strongest possible terms this wanton act of aggression by the Venezuelan armed forces against Guyana and Guyanese citizens. According to a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this Venezuelan action amounts to an interference with the sovereign rights of Guyana in its exclusive economic zone, contrary to international law. It is noted that this latest hostility follows closely on the heels of a decree recently issued by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, which purports to establish a new maritime territory of Venezuela called Territory for Economic Development of the Atlantic Facade, encompassing Guyana's territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf, as well as its land territory west of the Essequibo River. Today, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation U Todd met with Prem Kumar Lalbachan and Trevor Daniels, owners of the recently detained Guyanese registered fishing vessels. During the meeting, he conveyed the government's commitment towards the release of the crews and vessel. The Foreign Affairs Minister also provided the owners with an update on Guyana's efforts, including the issuance of a statement condemning the recent action of Venezuela and the transmission of a note in protest of the Venezuelan Navy's actions. The minister told the owners that his government is doing all within their power to reunite the crew members and their families and help to continue with their business.